It's like choose your hard, dude. Level up. Like choose your hard. Yeah, it's going to be freaking hard and stressful, but on the flip side of that, there's so much growth opportunity, and then the financial opportunity is insane.
Yeah.
And it's perspective. Like a lot of guys, and I learned this. I went and tried insurance for a bit, and I'm like, holy crap! Like to make $500,000.
Today on the Beyond Net Worth podcast, we had Mitch Frei. Mitch Frei is a guy from Santa Clara. We grew up watching him play sports. He's an amazing athlete. But we talked a lot about his life, some of the ups and downs. We talked about his career and summer sales and how he's turned that into real estate. We even talked about his family legacy and his grandpa fighting on the beaches of Normandy, and tons of great principles today that we pulled out.
Absolutely. Mitch Frei he's obviously a legend. He's been a sports legend, multi-sport athlete, but he's just a grinder and a hard worker, and he's carved an incredible life for himself. I think you'll find this podcast very inspiring.
This episode is brought to you by Big Storage Ventures. We are now inviting you to team up and partner alongside us. We bring our experience hunting storage deals and maximizing the self-storage asset to provide our partners with cash flow, tax benefits, and appreciation, all in one recession-resistant asset. Leverage our sister company, Big Ben's Moving Service, to fill your facility and give you an edge over the competition. Reach out to bigstorageventures@gmail.com or DM Big Storage Ventures on Instagram to team up. Today on the Beyond Net Worth podcast, we got Mitch Frei. Thanks for coming on, dude.
Stoked to be here.
Now, Mitch, I know Mitch family through Boots. I want to tell you a story about Boots. But then later we played football. I redshirted, I think your senior year.
The year that I played, yeah.
So,
yep.
Because you're playing basketball, right?
Yeah.
And
then I came and played football. And
yeah. And as kids, we used to go to the games and watch Mitch ball out with football and basketball.
Oh,
You
yeah.
play baseball too?
I did. What was your guys' when did you graduate?
12 and 13.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. So it's like 6-year difference.
So your little brother Boots was like who I rubbed shoulders with.
Yeah.
And just if you don't know Boots, like the funniest guy. And I want to tell this story because I'd want to hear it if it was my brother's story. But maybe the funniest Boots story. Tell me if you heard this. We're playing Desert Hills, and I'm just like a dress varsity type guy, but Boots is like. He's playing varsity, and he's just the corner three guy.
Yeah.
He's taking charges and shooting corner threes. That was kind of like his role.
PJ Tucker, dude.
It's freaking effort, and yes, PJ Tucker type. And dude, like we were in this neck and neck battle with Desert Hills, and it was like for the region championship or something. And we basically lost on like a buzzer beater. And everyone comes in the locker room, and like. Some guys are like slamming the wall. Some guys are like, F, like just so pissed. But Boots, he's just crying crocodile tears. And he goes over to they had a cooler that said coaches only. And he goes in there and he gets like a soda. He just starts drinking it. And his tears are running into his soda. And he's just drinking a soda.
Dude,
funny.
Boots is awesome.
Yeah, I know that's Coach
funny.
Brown's soda cooler, and you probably had a no soda drinking rule that year. So he's like pops into Coach's, grabs a Mountain Dew.
It's all over. I'm drinking this soda.
Boots is like, I don't give a crap, dude. Give me the soda.
He starts drinking like the second you guys after she loses.
That's awesome.
But yeah, if you didn't know, Mitch is a superstar athlete. I grew up. My entire life, watching you play, really excited, always on the radio, just like always looked up to you. I remember going to the church as a kid, and the Santa Clara Valley Church to like go shoot hoops, and Boots was there shooting hoops. It was probably the day after a game. It was on a Saturday, and then I remember you showed up like partway through his workout or whatever he was doing, and you just be like, Boots, can you dunk yet? Like, why can't you dunk yet? Mitch can jump out of the gym. So anyways, it's just funny because he couldn't.
No, I appreciate that.
We have the Santa Clara history. I feel like I've listened to other people interview on podcasts, but like we got to see you. We like kind of grew up in your wake,
Yeah.
So it's fun to watch, and it's fun to grow up kind of together and stuff like that. But want to get into your story, not just reminisce old times. And I've heard you talk a lot about, your lessons you learned as a youngster, like hard work and not quitting and stuff. But I think we've watched you grow a ton over the years. And I want you to tell us a little bit about your story, about your come up. But I want you to zoom in on maybe some of like the lessons you wish you learned sooner.
Yeah, no, it's a good question. Yeah, so it's funny because I appreciate the comments, but yeah, I know you guys were probably watching me, and I didn't make the smartest decisions in high school as well, right? Like I was definitely gifted athletically, but along the way I hung out with the wrong groups and I made some dumb decisions. I even ended up getting expelled from high school, which was crazy. I went to juvie. I spent time in juvie my senior year while I was playing basketball. So I made some stupid decisions along the way where I learned a lot, but I look at the question that you asked me about work ethic, and I was actually I can't remember who I was talking to recently this week, and I just said, dude, like so much of like the pie of success comes down to just grittiness and work ethic in business especially, right? And I look back and I'm definitely blessed, from my dad and my grandpa, where we had a little farm and cattle and we're doing fence, and every Saturday morning at 6 a.m., it wasn't even like a question or an option.
Really?
If a decision if you were going to go work or not. It's like you went and worked, and it was hard work.
Yeah.
And this since I was little, like I'm talking hard work. I don't know, my friends give me crap, but the reality is I learned how to work because of my grandpa. And it would enterprise in mountains. I remember me and my cousin Chase Frei, and we're up there building fence in the mountains, just me, him, and my grandpa. When I got in trouble, my assignment as a senior, after I got expelled, my dad's like, dude, you're with grandpa for the next month.
Really?
Yeah. So I was going to Panguitch nonstop, doing irrigating and fence and all sorts of just freaking hard work. So I just learned how to work hard, and I'm super grateful for that.
Yeah.
Like I just know how to work, where I feel like it's kind of a lost art in a way where people just don't work that hard. Like there's levels to hard work. Like people are like, dude, I work hard. I'm like, dude, there's just so many different levels to that.
It's true.
Work is on a spectrum now.
Yeah, well, you could be honest about saying you work hard and have someone else that works 10 times as hard as you.
Right.
So
Yeah.
that's interesting.
Like there's just different levels to it.
For sure.
Yeah. What's the takeaway in parenting? I mean, you brought up your dad and your grandpa. Like, what advice would you give to parents to pull the same greatness out of their kids,
Yeah, dude, they just didn't put up with, like, in a way, obviously I just made stupid decisions behind their back and different things, right? But they literally just didn't put up with crap. Like I was expected to go to church. I was expected to go to Young Men's every Wednesday. Like wasn't even an option.
Yeah.
Right. Like I was expected to be at the farm when I had to be there down working. Yeah. They just did such a good job of, at the same time, even when I was making dumb decisions, they would take stuff away, and there was definitely ramifications, but a lot of it was just sitting down. And I remember my dad sat me down and he's just like, dude, he's like, all I care about is that you're honest. Like, that's it. Just be honest with me.
Yeah.
Like integrity is the number one thing, and you weren't honest. There was repercussions. Yeah, parenting, my advice and what I hope to do with my kids is lay out the game plan and instill just grittiness and work ethic. And I look at it like, if you want your kid to be this just a dog, right, in life, and
But you do.
and tough and gritty and resilient and full of integrity, it's like they have to go through hard times. Like if you're going to create a warrior, how do you create this warrior? Mm-hmm. It's like you got to put that warrior through some tough times. Mm-hmm. Where a lot of times they're not going to want to do it, right? Like I didn't want to wake up in the mornings and go after a football game.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. But I was forced to. And I look back and I was pissed in the moment, right? Like all my friends are sleeping in and chilling, and in the moment, yeah, it's pissed. But I mean, I think you got to make the best decision for your kids, meaning a lot of the times, I talk about this a lot with my leaders too. Even though they don't realize it's in their best interest, it is. And you make that, like you do that. It's a whole different world with social media and technology and screen time. And there's a lot of parenting that's going to be tough, no doubt.
For sure. Could you take a second to maybe talk a little bit about your grandpa? I know he has an amazing story. And I know if we could just take like maybe a little bit to talk about him and why he was so amazing, why he was so great, and kind of the influence you had on you. Because if you guys don't know, like your grandpa is one of the coolest guys, and like
he's
Is
just
his grandpa brothers with your grandpa or?
my great grandpa.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it'd be my great uncle, but he's
So
he's
I mean,
amazing.
just a legend in our family City League team. We were just talking about City League basketball, but our family City League team is called the Shelby Dean basketball team, right? Because it's after
Yes.
my grandpa, right?
Yeah.
So it's me, my brothers, and my first cousins that all play on this. And his influence on us, you can't even put a value on it in how he doubled down in his beliefs and work ethic and his integrity. But what he taught us was just showing up. Like, dude, the guy was 95 and he was still waking up at 6 a.m. down there on the farm, putting in work every day. I'm talking at 95. One of the biggest stories that stands out, I remember rolling in one Sunday, and literally he's in his mid-90s, and has his cane, and he's walking out. And I'm like, dude, Grandpa, I'm like, where are you going, you know? And he's like, I got to go do my home teaching, you know? And which is ministering for our church now. I'm just like, dude, this guy is a legend, man. I'm like, and that's what helped him live so long and be as healthy as he was the dude just worked, like legit worked. Like in his 90s, he's like, give me the shovel. I'm like, Grandpa, chill.
Yeah.
Like he's teaching me how to shovel, you know, like
he's set for life and he's still going out there just because it's kind of
yeah.
ingrained in him.
And he ended up just being extremely wealthy he grew up dirt poor, and being a farmer, you don't make money. Like the reality is you don't make big money being a farmer,
Right.
but he ended up making a lot of money too, because the land he bought along the process where he was able to end up, and that's once again, real estate is a big part of what I do and who our family is now with my dad, because my dad watched my grandpa turn. Like my dad grew up poor, but he ended up.
But he had land.
He ended up selling this land that's Sunbrook Golf Course now, and he sold the land and cash. He went and bought these like a 50-unit complex right next to Dixie State. My grandpa did, and was set, you know, for the rest of their life. Once he made that transaction and 1031 exchanged that money from the land, bought this complex cash, and so. Pretty cool looking back at what he showed and how he led with his actions. Like it wasn't even he just did it. Like he led with his actions, which was cool.
Yeah. I mean, the difference is my great grandpa Landon, the brothers all had some land, and so he got a piece of the Sunbrook golf course, but he didn't go buy a apartment complex with his
What do you do with it?
I don't know.
He's like, he just had us in the bank chipping away at it, dude, living on it. He didn't reinvest it.
Exactly, but like honestly,
they're like backdoor neighbors, which is cool too.
Yes. He's seriously a legend. Like you guys probably don't know, like just the legacy come from. He was a real young man and fought in World War II.
Yeah, he served in the war, which is.
But he not even that. He was there on D-Day on the beach. He was in Normandy on the beach.
Goosebumps,
like
dude.
Shelby when he says he's a legend, he's a legend. Like that's the kind of man he is. Literally fought on Normandy, like on the beach in World War II, and
my uncle was born in the process while he was gone, so he didn't see my dad's oldest brother.
Yeah,
like he didn't.
While he's gone,
he was
fighting
2
in the
years
war.
old by the time he got back. Well, he was fighting in the war, you know, and he was gone when he was born.
He was a real warrior. He was an amazing man.
Like in the front line. No,
Yeah.
he really was, yeah.
And a miracle to have returned. He was like one of the few guys, like one of the few, there was a few boys in Santa Clara that went to the war. Just like, anyways, his stories are endless. Like he's just an amazing person. And it's just all of his, he did really well, and he was really smart, and he was wise with his money, and created something from what he was given. But like his kids and his grandkids are all like do extremely well too. Like they're all.
Yeah, I think what's cool in it and what you're getting at is like just the generational impact you can have. Like just be the one, which Justin Prince talks a lot about that from St. George. He's like, dude, be the one. Like be the one that has this like a couple generational just
impact.
Like you just change the trajectory of your downline, by what you did and how you live life. And he was that guy.
Yeah. So thanks. I wanted to take
cool.
a second to talk about him because he's just so cool. And
yeah, how could you skip over freaking the beach of Normandy? Like I've always wanted to go there because of how we had to freaking take back France, and man, I think that generation of men, like the World War II guys, like
what a
just
greatest
build
generations
different, dude.
Well, they just like they changed the world forever. You know what I mean? Like there has been nothing since like as big a deal as World War II, and for him to be like from here, go there voluntarily, come back, and then do all this, like
survive.
It sets the stage really well.
Yeah,
So
pretty nuts.
I mean, you talked a little about leadership, and I want to transition here. Like, obviously, work is to you the base of leadership, but tell us about now you're participating active. You got in early. What are some of the other leadership traits on top of hard work you feel like helped you go from where you were to kind of at the top of that company?
Yeah. Great question. So I was talking to a bunch of my key leaders like that I work with, right? A bunch of these dudes that are just phenomenal yesterday. And we were on this Zoom call. And I just like, to me, it's work ethics definitely near the top of the list to earn people's respect, right? Like you can't not be outworking your group. Like if you're not working as hard as them, like if my leader isn't working at least as hard as me, I'm not listening to that guy.
Sure.
Like straight up. So yeah. So work ethics at the top. The second is you have to be living an inspiring life, right? And obviously that's different to different people, but you have to be living as a leader. Like people got to look at you, one, respect you for your efforts and your work ethic, but two, like they got to want to look at you and be like, God, I want to be like that guy. Like that guy lives an inspired life. And once again, that can be different to different people. Like to me, an inspired life is like, I value family at a really high level, right? So having my family at the top of the list. I value my spiritual side, my religion. I value my health. I value my investing and setting up my family's future. Like I look at those 4 or 5 things and I put a heavy focus on just dominating those things. And I know if I can dominate those and do those things at a high level, I'll attract the people that I want to be around. And so like leadership is being trenchy, leading from the front and not asking people to do something you're not doing already at a high level. And then just being inspiring. Like if you can live an inspired life, and not for them, it's for you, right? Because that's where true happiness and joy, in my opinion, stems from.
Yeah.
And naturally, you'll attract the right people.
Awesome. Tell me, like I'm curious, right? Because we want to try to scale our lives similar to how you have. Tell me about Aptive and your role in Aptive. I want to talk about all the other stuff you're doing, but tell me what your main activity is, what you're most helpful in, and tell me why and maybe it's like you're waiting. Why are you staying in it and scaling it and growing it versus trying to make an exit like a lot of people do?
Yeah, so Aptive is the 3rd largest pest control company in the United States, right? Just kind of to explain who we are. And it was all built from our direct to home, door to door program and how we acquire customers. So the gist of it, it's summer sales. You go in, you can make a commission on everyone you sign up. So I got into Aptive. I mean, I was broke when I got married. We had $500 in our bank account, right? In Utah, people that go out and that do summer sales. So I heard about it. I jump into it. Went out my first summer, made 30 grand, life-changing money at the time, right? No, like literally life-changing money.
30 grand's 100 grand.
Now, how literally, that was 13 years ago, 14 years ago.
Yeah,
like
that's
that.
100 grand today.
It's 100 grand in today's money, right? So it was just freaking life changing. I went from being a sales rep to like, oh wow, like managers. If you can get into management, one, you get to impact and manage, which is freaking awesome.
Yeah.
But managers at the time were making 100, 200 grand. So I'm like, holy crap, dude, I want to be a manager, Well, that'd be sick just to be a leader. I've always been in leadership with sports. So jumped into management my second year, started making 6 figures as a college student.
You're still playing sports?
Still playing sports. Yeah, still playing sports.
I feel like I have to pause you there because the coach wouldn't let me leave for summer sales. Like, was it just because you're married and had a kid?
Dude, he literally sat me down and he's like, hey, we want you back. Or he's like, hey, what are your plans this summer? And I'm like, dude, I'm making 300 grand each summer. Like this summer, that's how much I'll make. Like, I'm sorry. Like I'm like if you don't want me, that's
To the basketball coach and the football coach?
yeah, both. I'm just like,
Wow.
Mitch would roll up right
dude,
at the end of the summer, just
dude,
right
straight
to practice.
up. I rolled up the day before our conditioning test.
Yeah.
And I'm like, that's,
I remember Dalton.
I was like, literally, I'm not going to be here all summer, dude. I'm going to make 300 grand this summer. And they're just like, holy crap. Like, okay, that makes sense. You know, we'll take you when you get back then,
Yeah.
you know, like just make sure you're back before the conditioning test. And I'm like, done. So I rolled in like August 5th, August 7th, or whatever it was.
It has to pass conditioning.
Completely out of shape. I did nothing all summer. Like
Well,
literally,
the
I'm out
conditioning
grinding.
test, as a guy who took it, it wasn't that hard.
Wasn't that hard.
Yeah.
I mean, I did
You're
throw
talking
up.
about the football test?
Yeah, the
Okay.
300-yard shuttle.
Yeah.
Is what we did. But yeah, it wasn't that bad.
No.
And I'd get in shape pretty quick. But
Like,
but yeah,
some of the guys, like, they were dying. I was like, dude, this is like
it's
just
not that bad.
This
Yeah.
is
But what
like,
about the basketball test?
everyone on the-
Basketball sucked, but basketball I had more time to get in shape because it wasn't.
because it was in winter.
Yeah, it starts.
the whole
It
fall.
starts like
Oh.
October, you know, where you have more time to get in shape. So it wasn't as. Now that it's Division One, you're not leaving.
No.
Yeah. Now that it's Division One, it's like not a chance.
Yeah.
They're just way more strict. So that was cool. I mean, and then I came back and I did really well in football, which was awesome. But yeah, as far as Aptive, I saw a path to create financial freedom. And I think if you ask most people, what do you really want? I think most people will say, I want to travel, I want to make memories, I want to give back, I want these cool things,
Yeah.
you know, I want a nice house, I'd probably prefer a nice car. Like life's expensive. Right?
Yeah.
Let's just all
It really
understand
is.
that. And we all get that. And so with my real estate background and knowledge that I was blessed to have my dad and my brothers kind of just pushing real estate's the path to financial freedom, but you got to make money to
Yeah.
be able to get into real estate. Like you got to make decent money. And
You gotta have a cash cow.
got to have a cash cow. You got to have a vehicle that's bringing money. And a regional manager at Aptive makes $400,000 or $500,000. So I'm like, dude, I want to be a regional.
Yeah.
And so once I knew I was capable of it and I was good at selling, I saw the path. I reverse engineered it. I laid out the plan. I laid out my non-negotiables, and I went and made it happen. You know, and it's been fun to be a part of it. The money's been amazing. The opportunity to create the opportunity in real estate's been amazing. But it's like I tell my guys, I'm like, dude, you don't last in leadership unless you're doing it with the right reason and the right intention to help others and to help them level up and to change their life. And if you're not doing it for that reason, there's flashes in the pan all day, every day in our industry because they're not there for the right reason. And people will see right through it, right?
Yeah.
So it's been cool to watch it come to fruition. And yeah, dude, I'm just super blessed. And to answer your question, my exit, my ultimate goal is I always had this 10-year vision. I'm going to build a house. I'm going to have a basketball court. It's going to be sick. And that's what I'm going to do right now, which is exciting. But I want to coach my kids and I want to coach high school sports, I think. So
Let's do it. Me too.
I could be so sick, dude.
I'll be your assistant.
I don't know if I want the head coaching, dude. You get the head coaching. I'll be the assistant, so I don't get the blame,
see.
you know?
We'll see.
But-
well, you know,
But anyway, yeah.
then the Fries can't complain about the head coach if you're the head
Yeah, that's true. Facts. Yeah, the Fries and Ences can't complain about their kids not getting playing time.
It's
But
like, Mitch is the head coach, guys. There's nothing we can do.
so funny. So yeah, I think things are so good in our business right now, and everyone's making as much money as they've ever made, like year over year right now. So
Yeah.
I'm loving it, dude. Like
Yeah.
I'm gonna be here the next 3-5 years.
Slow play the exit.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. If I can just keep setting up my real estate portfolio, that's the goal.
Well, and it says a lot up to me because I just got back from a conference. Summer sales guys who are either they've made their sweet exit, which is kind of fun to be a part of and watch,
Yeah.
or they're like they want that exit so bad because it's so stressful their life, right? They're still tied up the whole summer,
Yeah.
right? So they're still in kind of that grind or that rat race of summer sales. Which,
Yeah.
But it's cool to hear that the business has scaled to the point or you have the stress tolerance to basically scale this business and not have to make that frantic exit. You can kind
Yeah.
of pace it, you know?
Yeah.
What advice would you give to someone in a summer sales organization to like kind of set themselves up that way?
It's like choose your hard, dude. Level up. Like choose your hard. Yeah, it's gonna be freaking hard and stressful, but on the flip side of that, there's so much growth opportunity, and then the financial opportunity is insane.
Yeah.
And it's perspective. Like a lot of guys, and I learned this. I went and tried insurance for a bit, and I'm like, holy crap! Like to make $500,000, it ain't falling in your lap, you know. To make $100,000, I'm like, dude, you gotta be able to grind and level up. And yeah, that's like summer sales is freaking hard. I'd pack my family up every summer, you know, and go live somewhere for the summer.
Yeah.
And I had a kid in the middle of the summer. I flew back, packed up, went back out. Like there was a lot of sacrifice involved, but the bigger the goal, the bigger the sacrifice, the bigger the ups and downs, the bigger the reward. It's just how it works. Like that's how life works, right? And so it's just understanding. And yeah, it's you still got to have semi-balance so you don't go crazy or like put like if you're married, it's like you can't just put your wife. Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like there's definitely. And so much is communication too. It's like I'd always tell my wife and say, hey, this summer's going to be like, we'd lay it out. She knew the expectations going in, but it was, we're doing it for this, right? We're like, this is the big picture. And she deserves as much credit as anyone in the support with me to get us where we're at for sure.
Yeah. I love that, man. And I love that you're like, to me, people sometimes approach me like, hey, you ever like want to exit and like sell your company? I'm like, but then what would I do? Like I'm still growing this thing. Like the calf is not fatted enough for me to slaughter it.
It's like, you're so young, you know? It's like, what the heck am I else going to do?
We're still in growth mode, man. Like I could exit now and freaking regret it. Or like, I'm not desperate to exit. Like, let's keep going. Let's keep building and then make an exit. Like maybe.
And I think I've learned from other people too, that within the industry, like Vivint, there's guys that exited and they like that dude just chilling on a beach is sick, you know, and then like everyone thinks it'll be so sick. And then you go there and you're there for 2 weeks and you're like, I actually miss,
I'm bored.
Yeah. What am I doing? Like just impacting, like impacting and the grind and the growth that comes in it. It's like, yeah, most people that are really successful financially, they fall in love with the process. And it's like, to me, that's what I've been able to do is just fall in love with the process.
Yeah, believe it or not, it's like it's the growth, it's the hard things you go through that it feels different. Like you just almost feel, I could just see like, okay, if you were tired and you're done, you're on the beach for how long? Just
like what?
And you're just done. You just sit there like a vegetable, like
literally.
You know what I mean? Like, but there's something really, really special when, you know, you're a construction worker or you've been at the farm and you've been grinding from 5 a.m. till whatever. And then it's like that feeling when you kick your shoes off and you like get to sit down and like you're relaxing at the end of the day. Like that is different than if you didn't do anything all day. And you can't, it's hard to explain that feeling, but it's like the work that you put into creates an opportunity to have a vacation. Like a vacation from what?
Yeah.
You know?
No, it's literally like Kobe Bryant. One of my favorite speeches of all time was his retirement speech. And he points up at the rafters and he said, the real dream was the early mornings, the late nights. Like that was the dream. Like that's what life's about.
The process,
dude.
Mm-hmm. I had a conversation with this group of guys we were hanging out with last weekend. And one of the guys asked, basically, he's hyper successful. He's doing venture capital, making tons of money. And he asked, like, why should I be asking God for more money, like, when so many other people need it? You know, like, when there's other people out there who could use it more, like, you know, almost like a little bit like a guilt thing.
Yeah.
And I just said to him, like, dude, it's because scaling a company, growing something, working, pulls greatness out of you, right? Like, you're not trying to get rich just to lay on a bet of money. Like there's something in you that God put in you to pull out greatness, right? And that's why we love sports. Is like sports is not about having fun, like it is, but that's not like the main reason. Winning, like that's more important than fun, but like that's not the main reason. Like we love sports because of what it pulls out of us.
Facts.
You know what I mean? And I think that's the cool thing about staying in business, staying engaged. Like as you grow, like you can change your role and do things that you feel like you're creating more value and you're happier in. But yeah, getting out all the way and just doing nothing, that sounds lame. So anyways, I think it's cool to hear what you're doing. Talk to us about outside of Aptive, like some of your, like you said you already love real estate. Like,
Yeah.
what kind of real estate activities? Are you doing a lot of underwriting? Are you doing a lot of networking? Like, how have you grown your real estate?
Me and two buddies started a company called Golden Door Capital, where it's like essentially like a fund, right? So we find some deals, we facilitate everything. Maybe similar to what you guys are doing. People come in with capital, invest, and they get a certain return.
Syndications or a fund or?
It's syndication essentially. Yeah. So that's been cool. We just did that this last year, and we just started with one deal to learn, which there was a lot of learning in that. So we got more in the pipeline. And then the other thing is I just do multifamily. Like, I kind of found my niche that I like and that I'm good at. And I just look for multifamily. I started with townhomes, what I could afford at the time.
Yeah.
Started just buying up townhomes. Then I bought up some duplexes. I bought some fourplexes, and I've slowly turned a lot of those individual single door townhomes into bigger. With the appreciation that was there, I'd sold them and bought bigger properties. I have a 16-plex under contract in Ephraim right now, Utah, Snow College.
Yeah.
That's where I went to school. Let's go. Yeah, it's definitely right now. It's harder to find things that pencil and make sense, but they're there. You just got to work.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, dude, I love real estate. I mean, the stat that's the most mind-boggling stat to me is 90% of millionaires did it through real estate.
Yeah.
Right? Through acquiring and buying real estate. So if you went and got 10 millionaires on the street, 9 of them are going to say, "Oh, dude, I bought real estate." I'm like, well, that's what you should do then if you want to be a millionaire. Like, it's going to give you the best chance. Obviously, you can start a business and there's different things you can do to get you there, but real estate, my dad taught me that early on. That's a really safe bet to create a crazy cool retirement.
What are a couple questions about that? You said like you've learned some lessons on that first deal. Like, what are some pieces of advice you could pass on to people that are starting a syndication or getting into real estate?
It's the legal side, right? Like, there's a lot of legality in raising money. So you got to have good attorneys, which we had, that walked us through everything. It's expensive, like everything's expensive. So every time an attorney is going through and making all the paperwork and doing everything, it's expensive. That's the biggest thing is like learning just what we learned legally along the way. Cause like an accredited investor versus a non-accredited investor, it's a big difference.
Yeah.
How much can you raise with a non-accredited? How many people can be involved? Like, there's a lot that goes into raising money that you got to make sure you're following the right rules so you don't get in trouble. Which I kind of knew. I didn't really know, honestly, about like the details in that. So it was cool to learn that. And then I think going into it in anything where you're handling people's money and you're taking money, it's just understanding the risk and the weight. Like, it's I got friends and buddies that are invested in it, and it's like, holy crap, that there's stress and weight involved to make sure we make it happen, you know.
I can relate, man. We have the same thing.
So it's stressful. It's like,
oh yeah,
fetch.
Yeah, dude.
So just realizing if you're gonna do it, realize there's gonna be some heat in stepping up and performing, you know.
Yeah, we have same type of weight. Like, Callan has multiple family members in our deals. I have multiple family members in our deals. I told my in-laws to take their 401k and just get rid of it and put it in a storage deal. And like, maybe I was just like, you know, like, it's gone, that one, and a lot of our deals are going super well. So I'm really like, I have no regrets.
Yeah, you're optimistic on it.
But you treat that project and that work a lot different. Like, when someone's got something writing.
Yeah.
On it, you know?
Oh, if it's not just you, it's like, oh, fetch. Now that's cool.
That's great, man. Real estate is so powerful. And I think this is like, if anything, this simple model of having a cash cow and turning it into a real estate business is, to me, as someone who, I don't feel like I have like a supercomputer brain or like, you know, anything special. I feel like that's the best way to build wealth. Just get a cash cow.
It is. And people say like, well, how do I start? I'm like, dude, you just do it.
Yeah.
Like, you just get your ducks in a row. And I know that sounds like kind of a dumb answer, but it's like, that's how you learn.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you just find an agent that's really good that you trust, and you just piggyback off them. It's not like you need to know. It's not like you need to go and know a ton. I don't know. I still don't feel like I know a ton. I just do it. And I've learned a lot over the years. But if you have an expert helping you out and trust them, it's like, just do it. You know, like you got to figure out what you got to do to make it happen. But no, I love that you said that, because I got a 15 on the ACT. Like, I'm not that book smart. I'm just being honest. I'm not. Like, I'm just a freaking hardworking hustler.
Yeah.
That I'm not crazy book smart. I'm just not. And that's not my gift. I'm not good on spreadsheets. I'm really good at communicating. I'm really good at reading situations. I'm really good at just grinding and working hard. And I figure out like just the basics, and then I just freaking full send it, you know, and that's how you learn.
Well, that's the difference. Like something I've seen with you, you just, like you said, you're just a doer. You're someone who's not going to sit around and talk about it. You're just going to do it. Even if you don't know everything. I think a lot of people suffer from like being afraid or fear. So like there's a fear of failure, fear of not knowing, or fear of whatever. And like you said, the best thing you could do is just, well, I'm not afraid. I'm just going to go learn.
Dude, my business coach taught me this. He said, okay, even if you do this deal, right? Or you do this podcast, or you do whatever, and it doesn't go as well as you thought, right? Let's just hypothetically say it doesn't go good.
Right.
Are you still glad you did it versus you
not doing it,
sat on the sidelines? And it's like, yeah, like I'm going to learn.
Yeah, totally.
Like I'm going to learn a lot. That like that's the value, right? Like you can't sit on the sidelines, like you just can't, because there's no growth and learning there. And then once again, real estate, it's just the upside. It's like, think 10 years from now, even if it was a bad deal currently, not a great deal currently, like 10 years from now,
it'd be a great deal.
There you go, right? Like it's a great deal. Like when you understand that in real estate, it's like, dude, it's gonna like
you're gonna be so grateful for yourself 10 years ago if you owned that property.
And obviously not putting yourself in a spot where you could like go under, you know, or like
as long as
not
you cash flow.
Yeah, as long as you can make the payment.
If you have it in 10 years.
Yeah. You got to make sure you can have it in 10 years. But if you can, it's like it's gonna be, you'll be happy you did it.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And I love what you're mentioning, because I was learning this the other day, the exact same concept. I listened to the Follow Him podcast. It's a church podcast, but they have
it's about the Savior. That's what you're going to say.
Yeah. So they brought on, we actually had Riley Gates, his wife, on here, who works under, it's Mark Hammond Mark Hammond. So Mark Hammond he's a professor at BYU. He's a sports psychologist.
Nice.
He is the in-house for the Milwaukee Bucks. So Riley Gates' wife is like worked with him at the Milwaukee Bucks, like on sports psychology. He was on Follow Him talking about, he wrote a book on fear, and he's written several books on like sports psychology.
Yeah.
Side note, he was just like, yeah, it was I worked for a team in the NBA. He doesn't say like online, you know, worked for a team in the NBA and we made it to the finals. And he's like, I'm just like going to these athletes' houses like the day before the game and
walking them through
and just like making sure their mindsets are ready for the next day. Anyways, that was just cool to hear on the podcast. But what was interesting is he was talking about like fear and what happens and like how, you know, what goes on in the mind and all the science behind it and how we can just really, really cool stuff. Like he's an expert on that. But one thing I've never heard before, this is a perspective I've never learned that hit me, was that he said the opposite of fear, which you might think is many things, but he said the opposite of fear is learning. And he said that if you're in a learning mindset, always, just like your business coach said, he's teaching you the same thing, but he's like, if you're in a constant state of a learning mindset, you're not going to be afraid to take actions like here or there. Like you're not going to be afraid if you do this, you miss that shot, or if you take that shot, or if you don't, like you said, like you're not going to be afraid of getting on the field instead of staying on the sidelines, because you're just going to learn from it.
Yeah,
if your
so
number one
good.
thing is like learning, then you don't have to be worried about it, because like that's your goal, is to learn in this life. And it's like, oh, you know, you might fail, like the podcast might fail and you learned a thing or two, or that real estate deal might fail and you learned a thing or two, you know, and you're going to keep going, you're going to fix it and you're going to improve it and you're going to do it again, just because you're trying to, you know, progress. Anyways, I thought it was really, really cool. It really had an impact, but it's like the same things you're saying, you know?
Yeah. Fear is real, and it stops people from doing a lot of things and reaching their potential. Is just the reality, right?
Well, I don't feel like you're that way. Like you've always been one who's just like, you're doing things, you're going for it.
Yeah, and you'll figure it. Like it's like, dude, I'll figure it out. You know, like that's a big thing. Is like, I'll figure it out. Like that'll be good. Like good or bad. Like
Yeah.
we'll figure it out, like that's
It's so rare
kinda
to
how
have
I've
that
approached
mindset
it.
though. Like that's what I think is like makes you so special in like life is because like you just you take that approach where others are maybe like feeling more conservative or they just like you just going like that like I'm just gonna figure it out like okay big deal, it's not a big deal, whatever, I'm just gonna go and do this and figure it out. But like where so many people are unwilling to do it, they won't do it.
Yep. No, it's facts.
That's the growth mindset. The book Mindset is just all about. You guys read Mindset?
Yeah.
It's all about outlining like the fixed mindset versus the growth mindset, and like if you're focused on growing, if you're focused on like even if you're not, if you decide like winning or losing, like obviously we're gonna win, but that's not like if I lose one game, I'm not a failure, right? Like. If I grow, I'm a success kind of thing. It's like the same thing.
Dude, I talk to my kids like every night. I talk to my daughter. I say, what'd you fail at today? Like, I love that. Like, I just love failure. Like, I just think it's such an important thing to teach and understand that failure is good. Like, it's going to happen, right? Like, failure is a part of life.
If not, you're not trying hard enough.
There you go. Like, if not, you're not actually putting yourself out there. It's just the reality. Like, and it's trying to help my kids understand, lean into failure. Like failure is going to happen a lot if you're trying and pushing yourself. So it's I love talking about this stuff. It's good stuff.
That's really cool.
And one other thing that I think is important is we both said we're not that book smart.
Yeah.
But you talked about hard work, but you also mentioned soft skills, which I think is important. The listening, the communicating, like the little things, that's how you work your way up in life, is being able to communicate with people maybe ahead of you or coming up with you. Like the communication is so underrated. It's way more valuable than getting 30 on the ACT. Because if you can communicate people, you can have an entire organization work with you.
Dude, that's why summer sales is sick. Like you come out and you get kicked in the face, but you got to learn how to connect. You got to learn to listen. You got to learn to persuade. You got to learn to negotiate, to be assumptive. Like I really like summer sales for that reason. You start to just get a taste of it. But yes, life is relationships. Like what you just nailed it. Like if you can communicate effectively and get people to trust you, I mean, that's life. Like that's how you're going to get what you want in life, so true. Like those soft skills, extremely valuable.
Yeah.
So figure out how to put yourself in situations that will get you better at those things. Like you just got to figure out, okay, like how can I get better at communicating? Because it'll benefit you in like dang near every facet of life. Your relationship with your wife, it'll benefit you with your business, it'll benefit you in church, like everything. Dude, it's so underrated and needs to be talked about more for sure.
Yeah. Powerful stuff, man. I want to hear kind of, we talked about you're building a house, you're scaling your company, you got that 5 to 10 year plan.
Yeah.
What's a goal that you have set? Like what's on your mind when you wake up in the morning? What are you working towards right now?
What fires me up? So I like setting like 1 year, 3 to 5 year and 10 year goals, right?
Yeah.
So what fires me up this next year is a leader. I really obsessed early on of helping guys make $100,000, right? And then as I got higher in leadership, I obsessed about helping my main dudes make $300,000. And now it's to the point I really am obsessing over helping these guys make $500,000 and having them have the same vision of helping their guys make $100,000. So short term, I want to help a lot of guys make $500,000. I think that's a really cool feat. I want to do, as our group, we want to do 40 million in revenue this next year, which would be sick. That's some short term goal. I want to build a house, which we're working on the plans right now. I have like church goals where I want to go to the temple once a month with my wife. What fires me up in the 5 to 10 year is my kids and my family. And like getting myself in a spot where I can be just the ultimate dad, right? Like I can be like, I can go on these cool, like I want to take like my son on like epic sports like camps. Like I'd love to go to like Duke University to like a basketball camp, you know, like I think it would be so sick.
Like Tom Brady's dad, you know, like Tom
like,
Brady's dad took him just like camps all over the country.
Like how sick would that be, dude? And then I want to coach my kids because I think I'd be able to. My mind just goes like I got to be doing something, right? Like I can't. Like there's no chance I can get out of my current business and chill. So like I feel like I can channel what like my skill set in coaching eventually and obsess over sports and my team and my kids and winning and helping them level up in the process in life. Like I get excited about putting myself in a position to create epic memories and make a massive impact in the community and with my kids and my wife.
Dude, like, it gives me kind of goosebumps because I can see you like translating your like summer cells, like your leadership, like being able to take an individual, inspire them, build a team, like set like the standards of process. Like you mentioned earlier how like that you were subtle and it'd be cool to know a little bit more, but you're like, cause you talked about like 6 a.m., you know, Saturday when you were growing up, but like, and that you're pretty disciplined. It sounded like with your guys, like you have to do these things. And like, as leaders, you have to like force them to do the things that you know is better for them.
Yes.
I don't know what those things are, but I could just see you doing that in sports with the kids.
Dude,
and like
I have
them
this
be great.
Dude, I have this, like, I just have this vision of like football. If I was to coach at Snow Canyon of like, if like, and I think NIL's even getting into like high school, but like, dude, I would freaking get the community to rally and create the most epic experience from raising money to just having, but like, I just already have it it's already there that we're going to be like cruising down Main Street celebrating the state championship and like the whole city is going to be rallying. And like, I just think like Texas Friday Night Lights, like just, and then just the kids just leveling up as humans, you know, and like going to go dominate life and just, I just know it's going to happen. Like, I know it'll be cool to be a part of. And I get excited because you just got to be good at everything. Like how you do anything's how you do everything. Right. So it's, I just know if I can keep getting better at business and leadership, everything will transfer and it'll be cool.
That'd be a cool transfer.
Yeah. Just a detail. How old are your kids right now?
Not my girl's 9, then a 7-year-old boy and a 5-year-old boy.
Okay. So we got coming up in the next 5 to 10 years.
You just got to inspire all the kids that are here to not move.
Yeah, seriously.
That's rule number 1.
Dude, those guys that switch schools.
Because Ben Smith, are your kids Ben Smith's? He has girls.
No, Ben has triplets, right?
Yeah. Oh, he's got one. He's got
he's got Kai and Cohen, which are studs.
Are they your age? Kai and Cohen?
They're
kids' age, I mean.
They're my daughter's age, yeah.
Oh, okay.
So they have a triplet, so they're freaking studs. But Ben's gonna build 2 doors down from me, so I'm excited.
Oh, that'd be cool.
Dude, we're setting up shop west side of town. Get over there in the next couple years. Migrate. Even
it's gonna be worth it. I promise.
A little more expensive over there on the west side of town. Like there's mansions in Little Valley you could get for the same price of just a decent house, but to be in that high school boundaries,
it's gonna be worth it.
Senior. I'm the same exact way.
I love sports.
I'm almost to that point where I'm ready to get, like I coached for 3 years after I was done playing over there. And I think I'm in the same mindset of you of like carve out the legacy now. And I think some people, and they're just, you got to give them props. Like they just want to be a coach their whole career. But I think it's a good example of playing to your strengths and working in something maybe like you don't want to do. Like you didn't want to grow up and be a pest salesman.
Door-to-door pest control salesman.
I didn't want to grow up and be like a moving company and storage unit guy. Like I wanted to be a coach, And so like I think I love that we have that in common of just like, hey, carve this out, do this phase of life, like this season of life, and get it so you can set yourself up to be an even better coach in that season of life. So I love that. It's exciting stuff, man.
Yeah. So that's what fires me up, dude. Like and I think vision it's like where there's no vision, the people perish. And it's so true. It's like someone that has a really clear, crystal clear vision, you can just, you know it, because it's their urgency. It's how they walk, dude. It's like, okay, that person knows what they want and they're going to get it.
Yeah.
Right. Because they have a clear vision with really clear goals, and then they reverse engineer them and they know what to do that's going to give them a chance. Like for me to become a regional manager, it was so simple. And I tell my guys this, and not many do it, but it's like, how many go set up shop and work 40 hours a week recruiting, texting people, knocking doors? Like how many guys in our industry actually go sit in an office for 40 hours a week? It's like hardly any.
Yeah.
It's like none. So I'm like, okay, if I can just do that, I'm going to be in the top 10%. And if I'm in the top 10%, that top 10% makes a lot of money.
Yeah.
But there ain't no one forcing you to go work the hours.
Yeah.
Right? Like it's not like as a doctor, you got to show up. Like here, no, you don't. Like ain't no one holding your hand. Like Dana White talks about this, but he's like, dude, if you're a savage today, like you will run people over because the opportunity is real. Like the opportunity is there. We just don't have that many savages.
Yeah.
Like that's just
the dying breed.
I'm telling you, dude, it's just insane to me. If you are just a grinder and a doer, like opportunities there.
Yeah.
I'm telling, like, I got two 21-year-olds. Craziest thing, dude. They get it, right? Like they're gifted. They're really good at what they do. But they made each $700,000 this year.
Wow.
This year.
21
years old. And they worked, dude. Like no one sniffed what the amount of time and effort and contacting and messages sent out, and they got way better at doing meetings and recruiting and training in the process. And I was just blown away and so happy for them. And it doesn't always work out like that. It's not like for me, it took longer, right? Like these guys just freaking did it fast, but it's cool to see it. And I'm just a big believer in, if you're a doer, like we talked about, like, dude, you're going to learn a lot, you're going to grow a lot. And I think there's a ton of opportunity nowadays because there's not a lot of doers.
Yeah. But like you said, like in this country, there is a lot of opportunity, like where there aren't a lot of excuses. It sounds like, because it sounds like if you're willing to listen. So if I were to call Mitch up and be like, what do I got to say? What do I got to do? And just do it, what you say.
Oh, my dude.
It's a script. It's a script. Just do it.
I'm like, yeah, you got to have a little bit of natural like skill set. Like you got to be able to look
Soft
people in
skills.
the eyes, soft skills, right? But it's like, dude, if you just go do this.
Just do the script that they say.
Like, dude, I got this weird, what's the word for it? But like, if I lost everything, like it kind of gets me excited. Like if I with like zero, I'm like, kind of fires me up, dude, to like see how fast I could
Do it again.
Like, and just the process to do it fires me up.
Right.
Like, dude, I would, yeah. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I'd probably, and Tosh, my boss, talks about this too. He's like, I would probably, I don't know, like something in real estate. Like I'd go knocking doors and like looking for big real estate deals and bring people in, you know?
Yeah.
And I don't even have any money. I'm just saying, dude, I get 20% of this because I freaking found this,
Right.
you know?
Yeah.
But I'm going to look at this deal. Like, tell me you guys don't want to do this, right?
Exactly.
Like, I'm going to make you guys a lot of money.
Yeah.
Bang. You know, like I could go knock doors. I could go figure out and hustle and find deals and do that. Like there's a lot of like these weird, like things like that I'm like, yeah, it'd be cool to be at zero.
A cool challenge.
Be a cool challenge to like have to rerun it and like figure it out. Cause I just know I'd do it.
Right.
I know like it's not even a doubt. I would do it and I'd do it fast, you know?
That's so cool.
And there's so much in life that's you have to instill belief in yourself, and it's like you got to stack wins, you know, like that belief and confidence. It's not going to come until you earn it and deserve it, and you stack wins and you do what you say you're going to do. And that's where a lot of people fall short, is they make these New Year's resolutions and they fall flat on their faces. And how do they feel now?
Yeah.
You know, it's like their confidence and belief ain't there.
Well, they're stacking losses. And
They're stacking L's.
They're creating like a bad pattern that's hard to break. You know?
Yeah, it's like the reverse of building belief.
And like that's like when you brought up the vision, like having a vision is so important, but also like making sure that you have the commitment, like I think telling people your vision, like for me,
There's
that's so helpful, and not being shy or ashamed or apologetic about trying to build an empire, and just saying I'm building this, and being willing to fail.
Yeah,
I'm telling you, this is happening.
Yeah. Oh, dude, it's such a big part of goals. I think I love setting big goals. Like I think it's so fun. But when you do it and you write down what it's going to take, it's like you actually have to be willing to do those. Like don't tell me a big goal.
Yeah.
If you're not willing to back it up, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you just nailed it. I think telling people is a huge way of like the accountability side that can help a lot. And people tick different. People tick off, and I learned this with Brody Fawcett, where he talks about goal setting. Like some people are reward based. Some are like penalty fear based that can, like, if I don't do this, this is like the penalty, you know, but you got to figure out what helps you tick to go after goals. And then once you start, it's like the gym. Like if you get really good gym habits at the start, it always sucks. But then what happens? You fall in love with it, right? Like you're not going to miss. It's the same thing in business. Like you start to really fall in love with the process, and then you get excited. You get excited, but you got to get the snowball going.
It's been awesome, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on. I got a lot of takeaways. I got to go write some stuff down I have in my mental notes, but
Absolutely.
thanks for being here, man.
Yeah. Appreciate it.
Yeah. And then if there's how could people get a hold of you? I mean, if you're listening to this and you want to join probably the best team in the country.
Facts in the country.
Mitch has been doing this like no joke.
We're good. Our leaders are awesome. So if you ever thought of doing summer sales and you want to get those soft skills, you can just message me on Instagram or something.
Yeah.
My handle's Mitch Frei 10. But yeah, like the biggest thing for me that I wish that someone had maybe told me early on is it's not as hard as you think. And I don't I'm trying to think how I want to say it, but it's not, I'm telling you, it's not as hard as you think. Like I'm not special. Like I don't think I'm that special, like naturally gifted. You just got to work, you know, like that's the biggest thing. Like you got to go work and make it happen. And I just think anyone can do it, dude. Anyone can have big dreams and make them happen. So you guys are freaking awesome. Thanks for having me.
Yeah. Thank you.
Thanks so much, Mitch.
Yeah.
This episode is brought to you by Baseco. Baseco Foundation and Concrete Solutions specialize in foundation repair, waterproofing, and concrete lifting. They have the ability to lift settled or sinking foundations, permanently waterproof homes and structures, underpin and support new foundations and structures, erect sizable block retaining walls, and lift settled concrete slabs, including sidewalks, driveways, patios, and garage floors.
Yeah, I know Rock personally, and he's a close friend, and I wouldn't trust anyone else as a real estate investor. The foundation's the most important piece, and it can make or break any deal. So we appreciate Baseco. This episode is brought to you by Big Storage Ventures. We are now inviting you to team up and partner alongside us. We bring our experience hunting storage deals and maximizing the self-storage asset to provide our partners with cash flow, tax benefits, and appreciation, all in one recession-resistant asset. Leverage our sister company, Big Ben's Moving Service, to fill your facility and give you an edge over the competition. Reach out to bigstorageventures@gmail.com or DM Big Storage Ventures on Instagram to team up.